Overthinking is the problem. Today I was reading a post that said that overthinking is the reason for our depression, anxiety, pain, suffering, and stress. And that is true. That is absolutely true. Because overthinking deprives us of the energy, of the life energy, that it gets stuck and lost into thoughts. So the thoughts, they steal the life energy. And then what's left that reaches the body is much less because the thought is taking all of our attention. So in a sense, this concept is true. This phrase is true, that overthinking deprives us of life energy. It makes us tired. It makes us stressed. But I want to stress, no pun intended, that the root cause of the problem isn't the thoughts themselves. The root cause is the identification with the thought. It's not like the thoughts themselves are bad. Because once we get into that mind frame that the thoughts are bad, then we're going to start wanting to stop our thoughts. And when we want to stop our thoughts, we're going to be forcing them to stop. So I tried this before. I would, for example, try to keep myself busy the whole day, doing from one thing to another, from one thing to another, so I don't have any time to think. And like finishing the day, I've achieved a lot of things. The issue is this. The issue with this thing is that, as many of you can also confirm in your lives, is that after you're done with the work, then eventually the thoughts return and the pain returns. You can see this, like, for example, for many people who have been, workaholics their whole lives, they spend the whole life working. And at the end of their life, they're so miserable because they said they wasted their lives working. So trying to stop thought by forcing thought to stop is really dangerous because it will only feed the thoughts. As you could see in other videos as well, there is no brake pedal with thoughts. All pedals are gas. If you say, don't think about something, you're going to be thinking about something. If you try to force your thoughts to stop, they're going to become much stronger. For then, your attention is the food. It doesn't matter if the attention is the kind of, you're giving them attention with wanting them to continue, you're fantasizing about something and you're happy about fantasizing. This is attention, giving them attention. Or if you're trying to stop them. It's the same for the thoughts. It doesn't matter. Both are the same. Both are two sides of the same coin. It doesn't matter for the thought. It will feed on the attention. And trying to fight with the thoughts is just like what Osho said. Trying to fight the tree by hacking at the leaves. So he says that the leaves are the thoughts. And no matter how much we hack at the leaves, we're going to cut some leaves here, cut some leaves there. The tree is going to grow back and the thoughts are going to come back. And even if we're very busy, we're cutting so many leaves at the same time, the moment we rest and our attention moves somewhere, then the leaves are going to grow back and then the thoughts are going to come back. So the only way to tackle overthinking is through being knowledgeable about the concept of identification. It's actually not a concept, it's a kind of knowing. It's different than when I know a fact. I could, for example, know that H2O is the chemical formula for water. So this is just a piece of information that I have in my head. This is not the knowing we're talking about here. This kind of knowing is different. Kind of like when you think about, for example, when you look into the eyes of your son or your daughter or someone you love, that you just know that you love them. This is the knowing that we're talking about here. The kind of knowing that happens when, for example, you meet someone for the first time and you just know that you can trust them or not trust them. The kind of knowing that you have when, for example, someone tries to convince you to do something that you don't want to do, and you just know that this doesn't work for you. So this kind of knowing is not mental knowing, it's more of a spiritual knowing, that your soul knows that this is not right for you. And then, so we need to take this knowing, and then we need to be in a calm state and make sure that we know as consciousness that identification with thought is the problem. Once we know that identification with thought is the problem, we can start working on it. So the problem is that the thoughts get stuck to us. They become like a mask, like an identity to us. And as you have probably seen in other videos, the opposite of identification is observing. So whether you have many thoughts or one thought, you must observe them in order not to be identified with them. So, for example, after years of practice, now I'm at a stage where I have much less thoughts in my head. But that doesn't mean that I am free to identify with them. So I'm not overthinking, but at the same time, every time that I identify with a thought, it turns into pain and suffering. So the main point that we should tackle here is that not to identify with thought, whether it's overthinking or a single thought, and as well as feelings, of course. We're going to talk about this in a later video. So the key is to observe the thoughts, to do a meditation, to be in meditation, to live in meditation every second of your life. When you start out, maybe you don't have the ability to be in a meditative state the whole day, but we can start in the morning and the evening for a few sessions, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening before you go to sleep. That would be good until you get familiarized with the state of presence. But once you learn about the meditative state, once you can identify that you are now meditating or not, then you should move this into every moment of your life. So every moment in your life, try to live as much in a meditative state as possible. Learn the inner body meditation that Eckhart Tolle recommends, which I found to be the best method for staying anchored in the now. Stay present and keep observing the thoughts. Whether they're many or one, it doesn't matter. As long as you're observing the thoughts, and with time, you're going to be able to also observe the feelings that give rise to the thoughts. For example, someone says something to you, then you have a feeling of anger, and then the anger kind of like has steam, and the steam is the thoughts, and they rise up in your head, and you're thinking of the thoughts. So I recently learned that when I have a lot of thoughts in my head, that I would look for the emotion behind them, and I would find that I'm angry or scared or anxious. So once you look at the feeling that gives rise to the thoughts, what I found in my experience is that these thoughts will subside after a while. And by doing this over and over again for every moment, you will attain a place where thinking is much less than before. And hopefully, everyone, you and I and everyone else, are going to be free of thinking and fully present in the now. So this was the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Love you so much, and peace.